Hello and welcome from Vault 23. You can't tell from looking outside. It is very hazy, smoky. We are getting ash from Canada's wildfires, and I thought it would be if I wore I've got a wildfire on me. I am on fire. I've got the nice orange getup. Orange is the new black, if you will. Just imagine I'm wearing all black now. You're not seeing orange. Come on. But yeah, hello. How are we, fellow race day enthusiast? I say that when there's not even a race. It's a race to what part of the country is going to catch on fire and stay on fire forever. And I think right now it's the East Coast of the United States. But yeah, for those that don't know, Canada has been on fire for almost a month now. It's probably longer than a month, honestly. But the wind, for some reason, decided instead of going southeast, it was going to travel directly south. And of course, if you are familiar with the continental United States, if you're not, I'll explain. Canada, the Great Lakes, the Midwest. So, although we won't get fingers crossed, we won't get wildfires in our state unless we just spark one up. It seems like we will be safe because we have, the lakes in between. Unless the lakes are actually made out of gasoline, then we're all fucked. But they're lakes, they're not oceans. There's not a lot of oil drilling and rigging. Sorry, my camera froze for a second. Hello, I'm back. So I think we'll be safe, but our lungs are not. I have asthma as well as an enlarged tonsil. Fun fact, my left tonsil is enlarged. Am I going to show you? No, I'm not. Just look up a picture of a chicken heart and imagine that inside of my mouth because that's exactly what it looks like. So yeah, that is what we're currently dealing with. It's nice and hazy outside. When I was driving home last night, it looked like it was raining. Like when there's a nice little drizzle and it's enough where you can see the drizzle but not individual particles of rain. That's what it looked like. I mean, fog is probably an easier descriptor because fog and drizzle can be, one and the same if the conditions are right. However, it's tree ash, which was really funny because when I was driving home last night, I don't have air conditioning in my car and I work in the evenings, so I usually have the window down because it's it's already 70 or 80 degrees outside, but then having the window open with cool air makes it feel 70s, 60s, not sweating my balls off, things like that. My metaphorical balls, of course. But it smelled oddly like trees were burning, which I couldn't tell if it was a placebo. My brain was imagining tree smoke smell. I don't know. I've never been around a wildfire, a natural one. I've been to a campfire, so I know what that smells like. I know what gasoline or whatever the fuck people use to start fires in your area. My brother's used gasoline before to start the fire, so I've smelled that wood before. I don't know if I've ever smelled a wildfire proper though. But I was expecting, oh, the sky is smoky because fireworks, because we're coming on the week of the 4th of July. No, it's It's Canada. It's Canada wood. Wood from Canada. So yeah, if you're wondering why there's literally like a casting shadow like right there, that's literally like the haze particles like peeping in through the window. It doesn't look like that in real life, which is also mildly concerning because, you know, what am I breathing? But yeah, it's not pleasant. Allergies are really bad. I keep thinking I'm getting sick, and then I'm like, oh wait, it's just Canada on fire. Because I know there's a whole half of the country that's like very used to this. The west coast of the United States gets a lot of wildfires because they have a very arid uh, climate, and we have a very temperate to moist climate. I know that word bothers people, but I grew up saying the word, so like I'm desensitized to it. It is what it is. It's a humid climate. There we go. It's not as humid as, you know, the what do they call the south part of North America? That area. That area. I want to say the Everglades, but I feel like that's very wrong. Because evergreens are like green all the time. What am I looking at? Wetland in Florida. Okay, never mind. I was spot on. What can I say? I'm a geography pro. So yeah, it typically doesn't get, you know, super dry here. Like we'll have hot days, of course. It'll get up to like 90, 100 degrees Fahrenheit in the summer. I think that's like 30 degrees Celsius. Dude, if I'm spot on again, this is crazy. I think 30 degrees is actually like 80. Okay, so 30 degrees is 86. So it'll get, you know, anywhere from like 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. That's probably like what, 104. So yeah, it'll get like anywhere from there. And then obviously you have asphalt and astroturf and other things that exacerbate the heat to make it hotter. You know, obviously water will stay cool throughout the majority of the day until you get about like 5 or 6 o'clock because the sun's been sitting on it all day. So then when it starts to evaporate, the heat's gonna rise off of it. Yada yada yada. We don't have to get onto that. Anyways, it's hot, but we don't often get wildfires ever. There's not many state parks here that are primarily focused on trees. Like we do have a lot of state parks. We have like, I don't know, maybe we don't have a lot. I feel like we only have like 3 or 4. I mean, there's a lot of trees, but there's not like a lot of trails or anything that would, you know, cause a risk of fire. Because typically, you know, a fire doesn't come out of nowhere. It's gonna be like a lightning strike or a gender reveal party or people camping or someone smoking a cigarette and not like kicking it out or rubbing one out, you know, things like that. So, you know, we'll have like fire risks, we'll have like increased risks. So, like if it's a high wind day and it's dry, there's going to be a moderate to severe risk. And they have, you know, little signs at our state parks that are like, don't fart. You're going to burn down the place. Things like that. Not literally like that. It's like, don't light a fire. Don't be a jackass. Don't light off fireworks, stuff like that. So, you know, this isn't something I ever expected I would have to live through unless I moved to the west coast of the United States. And I feel like it's pretty unheard of for Canada to have wildfires. I don't know. I live in America, so we never hear anything about other countries, and if we do, it's majority of the time propaganda, lies, or just absolutely blown out of proportion. So like, I didn't realize This sounds so stupid, but like this is literally just the American education system. Like I didn't realize that Canada could have wildfires that could ever be this severe or untreatable. Because to me, you know, a wildfire in California makes sense. They usually get long periods of drought, so they don't get any sort of rain. You know, you have water that's evaporating off of the ocean that goes up, but you never get enough to cause rain to happen because you don't have the instability in the air because you have, you know, ocean, mountain. And you don't have that humid climate that you get down south and then the dry climate that we have up north, and then when those airflows converge, that's when you get storms because that's when you get low fronts and high fronts and instability in the air. I'm trying to not make it a meteorology debacle, but it's turning into one. To summarize, as my camera focuses, so Western United States doesn't have a lot of humid air, so the chances of them getting rain and thunderstorms is not as great as over here in the Midwest, for example, because we have a lot of unstable air coming up from the Gulf Coast. We also have air from the Atlantic Ocean, and then we also have northern air from Canada coming south. So when you get these three different types of airflow converging into one area, that's why you're going to get so much severe weather. That's why the middle of Northern America, so like Colorado's, North Dakota, South Dakota, Oklahoma, Missouri, not so much Missouri, kinda Arkansas, Texas, that like band right there, that's where you're gonna get most of your severe weather because that's in the direct inflow path of air from the Gulf of Mexico. So I didn't expect that a place like Canada would get wildfires because I feel like the ingredients aren't really present. And of course, I don't know a lot about Canada's ecology and the water cycle up there, but it's colder, it's wetter, and colder. you know. You have oceans surrounding it, but you know, it's like the Arctic Sea. Sure, you have the Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean, but you know, it's north. It's like, you know, higher than 60 degrees on the globe. It's like 70 degrees. So it's like you don't get much of a tilt of the sun, things like that. To summarize, doesn't seem like Canada has the ingredient for a wildfire. At least to me. I don't live in Canada. I don't study Canada's weather. I know that like Regina, Canada, and Manitoba, Canada, and Saskatoon or wherever, Saskatchewan, Saskatoon. I think those two places are near each other. I know you can get severe weather there. That's very common because you'll get like tornado chasers that live up there and visit up there. But I mean, that's still the middle of Canada, you know, that's still middle. So getting a wildfire on this side of the country, even in Canada or the United States, feels weird. And of course, you know, that begs to difference. Is it climate change? Is it X, Y, and Z? Whose gender reveal party failed? How did this happen? I don't know. Because all we heard about was, oh, boom, Canada, wildfire. How? You know, usually when it's here, it's because some idiot load off like 40 pounds of explosives to say they had a boy. So it's like, huh? And, you know, I didn't hear anything about it, and the air quality in New York City was fine again, so I figured the fires had stopped. I don't know. I guess they didn't. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with right now. It's not pleasant. I keep sneezing. I keep wanting to blow my nose, and then I can't because I will get a nosebleed. So I just have to bear through it, and it sucks because I keep having to sniffle, and I don't want to sound sickly, so I'm not sniffling. So I sound congested. My voice is already canonically nasally, so I sound like a little bitchwad. Which, funny that there's like wildfire smoke happening here, because 3 days ago there was a tornado less than like a quarter of a mile away from me. That was fun. That was really fun. So I was at work when that happened. So I knew I went into work at 3 p.m. I worked 3 to 11, and I got an alert at like noon. It was like, National Weather Service has advised a severe thunderstorm warning for your area, blah blah blah, until 5 p.m. And then like 5 minutes later, I get a tornado watch. So this is a very weather-centric episode today. So for those that don't know what a tornado watch versus warned storm is, a watch typically, okay. So severe weather outbreak risk is the risk for severe weather in your area. So that can be a single cell storm, that could be a, oh, I'm like making imprints on my thing. That can be like a multi-cell outbreak, so you get multiple cells of storms. A single cell storm is a cumulonimbus cloud that just goes up and then anything else. Usually a multi-cell storm has multiple of those cumulonimbus clouds, or other types of clouds, typically cumulonimbus ones, because of how they rise with their unstable air. They usually are the most likely to produce thunderstorms, rain, hail, how high up they expand. And also tornadoes. So severe weather outlook was already semi-high for the area. So I was already like, okay, this is kind of sus. It's supposed to be 90 degrees, and then by the end of the night, it's supposed to be 60 degrees. So with that storm in mind, we're probably going to get some severe weather because you have cold air inflow and you have hot air inflow. They need to outflow it somewhere. Tornado. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh great, I wonder if our like order team that goes in and out of the store, because like most box stores do that nowadays. You'll have like pickup services, and we have a pickup service at our store. It's pretty common here. I don't know if it's where you guys are, but you can like order something and then people will come and deliver it, like curbside delivery. And so I was like, oh, I wonder if those people know, because they have to go outside, and usually they can't go outside when it's like thundering or lightning, because usually their method of bringing stuff out is either shopping carts or these little metal carts, and you know, they have little rubber wheels on the bottom, but if you get struck with lightning with one of those, you're kind of toast. You know, it's not like getting struck by lightning in a car, where you have these giant, rotating, grounded rubber tires that can help insulate the electricity as it courses through your vehicle. Because, you know, it's a vehicle, and your body's a vehicle for your organs, and if your vehicle gets struck, you're probably going to die. And of course, you know, we're working, so it's not like they can be checking their phones or anything. So my first thing was, oh shit, I need to make sure I tell the curbside delivery people when I get to work, because I have a strong feeling like they don't know. Because tornado watch, right? My ass, this is the most Midwestern thing ever. When there's a storm, we look outside. When there's a tornado, we look outside. It's like, it's a pastime. I don't... If you know any Midwestern people, or if you are a Midwesterner, you maybe have in your life sat in a garage and watched a thunderstorm roll by. You may know what the smell of rain on the horizon smells like. To me, it kind of smells like buttered cabbage. You know, it's like, it's a very it's a very unique experience. You know, not a lot of places in the world get severe weather as often as we do here. And you know, we're in like the tip of Tornado Alley, which Tornado Alley is that hot zone I was talking about in the middle of Northern America. That's just where the conditions are most favorable for severe weather and tornadoes and tornadic activity. So we're on like the tail end of it. But I mean, like, tornadoes don't see a line and go, oh, I'm not gonna cross it. No, they're gonna fucking. So, even though we're not technically in Tornado Alley, it's still, you know, highly possible. You know, we get like a tornado a year, like a big one, EF2. Then you get to the whole enhanced Fujita scale, which we don't need to go too much into. It ranges from 0 to 5, 0 being like slight wind, you know, maybe some tree leaves and stuff on the floor, down to 5, which is entire homes leveled, multiple miles of destruction, you know, flatline, dead people. I meant to say power lines down. I meant to say flattened power lines, but I said flatlined instead. But typically, if there's an EF5, there will be, you know, loss of property, power, water, and unfortunately life. So yeah, we don't have to get into all of that, but you know, that is the scale that we're working with. So usually a good way to look for severe weather, if you're wanting to become a little meteorologist aficionado, typically look for wind gusts, how unstable the air is. If you're looking at a radar and you're seeing green, so green usually indicates like light rain, and then yellow and orange is usually like heavier rain. Red is usually lightning, rain, thunder, heavy winds, and then purple's hail. And then blue is snow. Blue is snow. It's actually very nice. If you're colorblind, I don't know how well it looks. I'm sure it's the same sort of gradient of colors, but from like a white to like a dark gray. I've never looked at it from a grayscale version, so I don't really know. But typically what you want to look for is a hook of red surrounded by green, and there's typically not going to be any red or yellow around it. And when I say a hook, I literally mean like if you take your finger and you bend your knuckles down, because I know you might not be able to see this, like a hook like that, like a Captain Hook. Yarr. So typically that's what you want to look for on a radar. Of course, if you see that, it's not guaranteed a tornado right there, but that's where the most tornadic activity is going to happen, because that hook is your airflow rotating. That's causing the hook because it's rotating. But you can still get tornadic activity in like a straight lined wind, like a surge wall. So that would be like the green, or it would be green here because the green's approaching you, and then the red on the other side, or like this would be the red. So I'm looking at the radar and I'm looking outside and I see nothing. The sky is blue. From my window looking out east, I see nothing. Clear skies. It's blue. And so I look to the north and I see, oh, there's rising nimbus clouds that are becoming cumulonimbus clouds because they're getting taller and they're expanding, and they're expanding upwards, but they're also expanding outwards. And so I was like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll pass just north of us, whatever. And so I'm getting ready for work. I'm bleaching my hair. I'm putting on makeup. I'm looking hot. I'm like, if I'm about to die, I'm gonna go out in style, baby. Literally in my era. In my tornado era. And so, I'm driving to work now, and I notice that the clouds are like south of me now too. It's still pretty blue outside, but there's, cumulonimbus clouds north of me and cumulonimbus clouds south of me. I'm like, okay, they're just gonna like go right past us, and I'm in the middle. So I get to work, And I'm like, oh my god, tornado watch, tornado watch. I hope the power goes out. And I kept going, power out. And I kept like dropping down. I hope the power goes out. Because if the power goes down, typically our Wi-Fi goes out too. So then, you know, there's not really much to do because the store runs on like power and Wi-Fi for like orders and doing like out of like pulling out of order items back onto the floor and stuff like that. So yeah, it starts to get darker and grayer outside, and there's like really big windows like above and around the doors, and then like in the front, and then there's like some ceiling, you know, windows, you know, typical retail store things in America, at least. I don't know if that's common anywhere else. Um, why you would have the natural lighting from windows and then still have LED lights everywhere, I don't know, but anyways, moving on. So we're looking, and it's getting a little scarier, and they had just reinstated the severe thunderstorm warning and the tornado watch. So to go back to what I said, because now I remembered where I got off on my tangent. So if a severe thunderstorm watch means there's like an advisory. Be on the lookout for severe weather in your area. A warning typically means, hey, this has either been reported in your area or our Doppler radar is showing that this is bound to happen. We just don't know when or where exactly, so we're going to issue a county-wide and or statewide advisory watch or warning in your area. So, severe thunderstorm warning, there's a warning of severe thunderstorms in the area, and then the tornado watch, we're watching out for a tornado in your area. The conditions are favorable for it. So, you know, we're like looking around, we're like, there's thunder, no rain yet. And they call us up to the front office, and they're like, hey, so do you guys know where we're supposed to go if there's a tornado? And I shit you not, almost everyone either shook their head no or said no verbally. And I was one of those people. And so their wise asses decided to tell us the safest place to hide is in the toilet paper aisle. Not hugging a steel pole around the store that's rooted to the foundation. You know, you would expect retail stores in the Midwest to have tornado shelters because most camping resorts and or camping resorts with RVs have tornado shelters, bunkers, you know, simple things, a crawl space, a centralized room, literally anything besides windows on the walls and on the ceilings and toilet paper and metal shelves surrounding you that could easily just slice your arm off, you know, things like that. So we got told, like, you know, if there's a tornado, we go there. We tell customers to come with us. They don't have to come with us, but it's highly advised that they follow us to the safest part of the store. We're like, okay, cool. And they were like, we don't expect this to happen because the storms are north and south of us. And at this point, my perspective had changed about it. I was like, oh yeah, it'll be fine. They're north and south of us. At this point, I was like, yeah, a tornado's gonna happen here. I just don't know where. It's either gonna kill me or it's gonna blow over my house. Literally. Like, blow it down. So that's cool. I go and I tell, you know, my other fellow workers that we're not able to attend the meeting because, you know, they're doing their job. And their job requires, like, directly handling money and stuff like that. So I go tell them, and I'm like, I don't think it'll happen, but, like, I don't want you guys to die, so just keep a lookout. And literally, like, not even 10 minutes later, it starts raining. the wind starts going crazy, and then I go to record a video to send in the Discord, and I'm like, hey guys, so I might die. As soon as I went to hit record, I got one of the, National Weather Service, like, alarm bells on your phone. Usually if you live in this area, you get one of two alerts on your phone that are not ignorable. Well, they are, but they don't come as a natural ignorable feature on your phone. Are amber alerts slash silver alerts. Amber alerts are for like children and young adults, and then silver alerts are for missing elderly people. And then severe weather. There's probably more. I'm hoping I don't have to hear them in my lifetime. But yeah, that went off and it was like, oh, tornado warning. Okay, fuck. So they come on the intercom and they're like, okay, guys, we gotta go. Like, go to the spot, start bringing people with you. And so, stores have the storefront, so what customers see, and then you also have the back room where all the magic happens. And so the toilet paper aisle just conveniently happens to touch the toilet paper aisle in the back of the store. So I'm like, I'm gonna go to the back of the store because it's safer, because there's steel fixtures that are rooted to the concrete. Even though they're rooted to the concrete with nails, they're rooted to the concrete. I would much rather be back here than on the floor where there's no steel fixtures for me to hold on to. And then people are like, you're going the wrong way. I'm like, do you want me to die? I am going to the safest place. Honestly, the safest place is probably the freezer. Even though I watched how the freezer was built, and I know it's literally made out of sheet metal and wood and insulation, but it's at least surrounded by concrete, So I'm with my coworkers, and we're trying to laugh and have a good time, because we have coworkers that aren't from this area, so this isn't like a common thing for them. They've maybe never even experienced a tornado before, and I'm a seasoned tornado veteran, warrior, I don't know, seasoned adventurer, I don't know. I've never seen a tornado like with my own eyes, but it's like I've been around enough tornado warned storms. I know what to do, which is typically look outside. It's typically look outside and watch it roll by from the garage. Can't do that at work though. So I positioned myself in the aisle in a way that I could look out one of the front windows, and it is just white. It is just white. It is just rain falling. It is the loudest rain I've ever heard, like, in that store in my life. And like, typically you can't even hear a train go by, because there's train tracks pretty close by. You can't even hear the train roll by unless it's like late at night and there's not a lot of customers in the store. And it's just like, that's literally what it sounded like. And every fucking child in the store starts sobbing. And of course, I was once a child that was absolutely afraid of tornadoes. I used to have a bug out bag of all of my favorite stuffed animals that I would take to literally any and every store ever. And I don't know how I was, never not accused of stealing something. Because, I'm just a child walking around with a giant tote bag. But I guess I just looked so scared for my life at all times as a kid that no one saw me as a threat ever. So, I'm sitting there and I'm like, or I'm standing, sorry. I don't even have the luxury of, potentially dying while sitting. I had to be standing for it. So I'm standing there like this. I've got my coworkers next to me. One's playing a fucking video phone game, and he's like, I gotta get this drop before I die, funny things like that. My friend's like, oh, I have my chai latte, and he's like, your last drink is gonna be a chai latte. We're doing the, a little bit of satirical humor, we're gonna die, things like that. But you know, there's like a little itty bitty monkey with a drum inside the back of my brain saying, "This is your worst nightmare." First, it was dying at this store because of that. But no, it's going to be a tornado. Cool. So I'm like, okay, if a tornado hits here, it's going to hit my house. It's guaranteed. You can't separate one from the other. With how close they are, you just can't separate it. So I'm like, okay, I'm calm. I've made my peace, sort of. I'm here. I can't really do anything about it. And turns out there was actually a tornado that touched down, like very close by. Very, 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 very extremely close by. Like, so much so that if I was able to walk out of the store and look down the road, I would have saw it pass by. Hey, if I was in the garage, I would have been able to see it, you know? Why did I have to be in the toilet paper aisle shitting my pants? So, we don't realize that there's a tornado yet. We're checking our phones and we're seeing, people talk about stuff. And one of my friends pulls out her Snapchat, and someone is like live recording a tornado while they're in their car, like 3 minutes before. And I'm like, where is that? Like, I see a water tower and I see a cornfield and I see a line of trees, and I'm like, hey, that is the entire Midwest. Where is that? And so like they check the snap map and I see it's like, less than a mile away. And I'm like, okay, but where is that? Like, is that the water tower over here, or is that the water tower over here? Because it's the difference between, are we about to die or not? And so we're like texting, and I like tell my friend, I'm like, hey, turn the camera, face me, and send this video to your friend. And I'm like, you gotta tell us which direction this tornado's coming. Like, we're in this fucking TP aisle and we're about to die probably. It's gonna be like the Amazon warehouse in Kentucky all over again. If you don't know what that is, please look it up. It's a very tragic and unfortunate event that could have been prevented if they just let their employees go home at a tornado-warned storm, and they didn't, and they all perished. Anyways, moving on. The weather starts to let up. You can see the sun start peeking through. Surprise! The tornado actually didn't come during the rain. It was at the tail end of the rain. And they immediately just like, oh, hey, the curbside delivery team can start doing orders again. And there's a fucking tornado outside. Just because they saw the sun come out, they were like, oh yeah, it's safe, it'll be fine. So anyways, business returned as usual. I guess there were people waiting outside the whole time, like, annoyed that they weren't getting their order because there's a tornado. And, it's classic Midwest fashion to, like, not take tornado warning seriously. Like I said, you go outside and stuff like that. And, I joke and I laugh about it, but, like, a lot of casualties that happen during severe weather is because people don't take the threat of it seriously. So that's why it's always good to be informed. Literal meteorologist status over here. Not really. I did a few seminars. I took a class, got a C. They didn't know you needed a physics class beforehand. My professor told me, hey Hannah, you're the only one in this class that isn't a meteorologist major. What are you doing here? And I was like, I like it. He was like, you're probably gonna fail. And I was like, it's fine. C's get degrees, baby. Literally the only reason why I didn't do well in the class was because I had no understanding of physics. I'd never taken a physics class before. It's the only time I've ever gotten a C in a class. Besides in elementary school, hey, I got D's and F's in spelling and math. If that tells you anything about the creative genius I am. So yeah, we can't focus on our jobs whatsoever because we know there was a tornado in the area, but we don't know where. And so, people are like messaging coworkers and relatives and like, hey, are you okay? Like, we find out one of our managers' apartments got hit, and we're like, hey, are you alive? And they were like, yeah, I'm not even home. And we're like trying to figure out what's happening. And yeah, so no one can focus. It's a crazy, crazy time. And then that's when Facebook comes in. The lovely world of Facebook, where everyone posts every second of their life. So I searched like hell, and I found lots of pictures of the tornado damage. And of course, I didn't even think during all of that to like text anyone in my family besides my father, because I was like, hey, if there's a tornado, can you like make sure Simon and Kuko's ashes are okay, and like you actually take Buzz to the basement so he doesn't fly away. He was like, not even that bad. I don't know what people are talking about. And I'm like, so yeah, I find out where the tornado landed. Very, recognizable locations in my life. The previous years. That was that. Oh, my camera froze. And that was that. Every, once the initial cooldown of what had happened had passed, kind of like the storm, everyone just went back to normal. I haven't looked out at the tornado damage yet, but it's not too far away. I could go look, but it's like I've already seen pictures of it, I have a roof over my head, quite literally. I don't think I need to go looking for someone's house without a roof. But yeah, there were fortunately no casualties here. That is not the case for other tornadoes in the area. But yeah, it's been two very close calls for tornadoes in my family recently. Because at the beginning of April, my sister and mother's town got hit directly by, I believe, an EF3. We got, I don't think anyone, because they determine the tornado damage after the fact. They don't quite have the technology yet to determine what it is as it hits the ground and as it, does damage. If you're interested in finding out any progress they're making on that, I highly recommend you look up the Dominator team as well as Reed Timmer, because they do a lot of on-the-ground research. They have these little devices and instruments that they launch into tornadoes and into supercells to track data. And funnily enough, one of the instruments that they launched into a tornado, or was it a tornado? It's one of the two. It's interchangeable. So they launched one for both a hurricane as well as for a tornado. And I believe the one from the hurricane ended up in a tornado. I don't think it was the opposite. I don't think it was a tornado one ended up in the hurricane. I think it was a hurricane one ended up in a tornado, and someone like found it because they have like marking on it that's like, oh, here's this. Which I just think is so crazy, because it was a tornado that happened like months after the hurricane, and I'm like, so you mean to tell me that's just been either floating around in the atmosphere getting hockey pucked around, or it was on the ground, they couldn't locate it because the tracker had died in it, so that's why they thought it was just like lost, and then someone found it. It's just so crazy to me. Tornado, I want to see, it had to be either an EF2 or EF1 No, it had to be an EF0 or an EF1. But it's funny because it's ironic because another tornado that hit was on a direct line of path that another tornado literally like 2 months ago went down, which is also relatively close by. Let's see. I was hoping this article would say something about the tornado. Because, you know, some houses were destroyed. So that typically equates an EF1. Usually if it's just like power lines and trees, it's an EF0. Can I see? No, stop it. Oh, didn't know there was a shooting at a place I've been to. EF rating. There we go. Okay, so it's been preliminarily rated as an EF1 with winds between 100 and 110 miles. And that was 2 days ago. That was posted. That was a 5 p.m. update. Oh, it has like all of the places that got hit. That's kind of insane. Let's see. Okay. So it was... Okay, holy shit, never mind. So it was upgraded to an EF2 tornado. That was the last time it's been left off. So earlier on Monday, the Twister was preliminarily rated as a EF1. However, in a public information statement released at 7:48 p.m. Monday evening, the Twister was upgraded to a preliminary EF2 with peak winds of 115 miles per hour. And what was shocking to me is, you know, tornadoes typically, they don't stay on the ground for a long time. They'll come down, they'll come up, they'll do their damage, but sometimes they stay, you know, on the ground for a long time, and that's usually when you get the most destruction, because as it picks up stuff, it's going to pick up speed and matter, quite literally. Very interesting. So it started when it touched down at 4:13. It started at 95 miles per hour, and then rip. Oh, I didn't know about that. Okay, so I guess there were pieces of debris impaled into the ground. So this place I used to go shop at, which has been abandoned for many years, they were planning on selling it pretty recently, and they've been keeping the power on in there like this whole time. I assume to like keep people from hanging out there. I don't know how leaving the lights on is supposed to deter anything, but yeah, the roof is gone off that place, which I thought is crazy because like I used to be a wee little lad shopping in there all the time, so like very weird to think about. But I haven't been in there for many years, so it's like it, you know, it doesn't hold weight over me really. It doesn't even hold a roof over my head, if you will. Let's see. So when it hit that building, it was at its peak winds of 115 miles per hour. You know, I'm just saying numbers, but like that's crazy. I've never been in a car that's went over 110 miles per hour. So like I can't imagine being a swirling vortice of wind, a wind column, you know? Uprooted numerous trees. Meteorologists found more high-end EF1 damage here. Tornado lifted roughly a quarter of a third of a mile southeast of this location, and then that's when it went on the direct course to hit the same town all over again, and then it decided it wasn't going to. At the maximum width, the Twister was anywhere from 200 to 400 yards wide, which a yard is 3 feet, so 600 feet wide. 600 to, I can't do math, 600 to 1200 feet wide. It was on the ground for 10 minutes. That's crazy. That's crazy. I was sitting in the little fucking toilet paper aisle for like 10 minutes when there's a tornado on the ground. Like, what? That's so weird. Weird is an interesting word to use. I don't know if there's really a word to describe how it felt. Let's see. Oh, I guess there was a curfew. Oh, I guess I broke curfew because I worked until 11 p.m. so I didn't know there was a curfew. During the curfew, no one can travel on public streets or in public places within the affected unincorporated areas. Okay, never mind. I was fine then. Yeah, okay, so I guess it was an EF2. That's kind of crazy. I had no idea. Well, I was pretty good with my original guess. I just wasn't expecting it to actually be accurate. So yeah, that's been... Hi, Buzz. Hey, Buzz, you want to say hi? He doesn't seem to understand that there's a thing called a camera and there's also a thing called a mirror, because I can look at him over in this mirror at all times. Well, minus right now because I have an empty water bottle pack on the ground because he likes licking the plastic for some reason. So I can see him all times as long as he's behind me in that mirror over there. And obviously when I'm using my camera, I can see him in the viewfinder. And I get it, he's a cat. But like, I've shown him extensively how cameras and mirrors work. And he stares himself in the mirror quite often. He's a pretty self-absorbed cat. But it's always so funny when he looks and he goes, mm-hmm. Right, Buzz? Yeah. You guys can't hear him, but he keeps doing Buzz. Hi. Come say hi. You want to come say hi to the podcast? So yeah, I think the moral of the story is, aren't I the lucky one? You know, that's the name of the podcast. The original point of making the podcast that name was A, K-pop song that I like, and B, you know, that phrase has multiple meanings. Aren't I the lucky one? Someone had a poo finger and they smeared it on my car. Or aren't I the lucky one? I didn't get hit by a tornado. You know, it carries multiple meanings. And I think this podcast has multiple meanings. You can take them as you will at face value. So I think when I say aren't I the lucky one this time, I mean it quite genuinely and literally. Aren't I the lucky one? I got to come home to this buzzard. Yes, this boy. He was so excited to see me. He hasn't been outside of the basement much for severe weather, so he's a bit of a scaredy cat when it comes to storms. But he hasn't been outside of the basement for a storm quite that severe before, so I have no idea how he reacted. You know, he's obviously okay, so he didn't, you know, do anything to get himself injured, luckily. But yeah, just crazy. And we have more severe weather on the horizon, quite literally. Let's see. The weather app was a little confused earlier. It said it was gonna snow. I think it's mistaking the tree ash for snow. And you might not believe me when I say that, but here, I have picture proof of it. I have picture proof of it. So yeah, I just didn't expect that to happen at all. Buzz, what are you doing? What are you doing? So yeah, we have a 50% of thunderstorms tomorrow, we have a 50% on Friday, we have a 50% on Saturday, and we have a 50% on Sunday. Maybe more severe weather will happen. I work for All of those days but one. So I I might be getting really well acquainted with the toilet paper item aisle for one of two reasons. I'm either gonna be shitting my pants a lot, or I'm gonna be shitting my pants a lot. But yeah, I hope you guys are all doing well. Quick little update on the YouTube's side of things. I just posted a new channel trailer on our Hannah the Hermit official YouTube. So that's where we do game commentary, game clips, as well as edited VODs of our Let's Plays on stream, as well as game playthroughs exclusively on YouTube. We will also eventually be streaming there. Maybe permanently, maybe not permanently. It kind of depends on what YouTube is doing and what Twitch is doing. YouTube recently just came out with a statement and said that 70% of their advertisements during X amount of period violated their own terms of service. So what that means for monetization reasons, I don't think it would affect creators because, I mean, obviously the creators of the advertisements would be affected, but, you know, creators that have monetization on their videos, I don't think they're necessarily affected because we don't have control over the majority of the advertisements that play during our broadcast and or pre-recorded videos. Maybe that'll change. I don't know. I always hope that when I'm streaming on Twitch and someone is about to get hit with an ad break from me, that it's going to be the best advertisement since sliced bread. And, you know, if they have personalized advertisements on through data tracking, I hope it is glorious. I hope it is Minecraft for days. I have been getting so many Minecraft advertisements everywhere. Which is good, because I've been playing a lot of Minecraft, so that means they're using my data well. Whether I ask them to do it or not, that is up to them to decide, I guess. Because it seems to be nowadays that a lot of companies, Twitch, likes to change their terms of service without letting their creators agree to it. Thank you, monetized streamer agreement that I actually did not consent to. Woohoo! Yay! Thanks! But yeah, I have to wait for my current sponsorship to be up. To stream on YouTube because it is exclusive. It's a contract exclusive to Twitch, so I can't, you know, promote it elsewhere, really. I mean, I can, like, I can't, you know what I mean? And of course, in order for people to see it, I need to stream on Twitch, so that's a thing. So yeah, once that's up, I will be starting streams on YouTube, intermixed with streams on Twitch, you know, partially for advertising sake, but also because, you know, I like the communities that I've joined and been a part of and helped grow and help found on the platform. And I don't want that all to go away because I don't like that Twitch doesn't give me money for the effort that I do. But, you know, you can see how well my current job cares for me if they slap us all in a toilet paper aisle for less than $16 an hour. Do with that information as you will. I don't think they would really care about me if I was gone or not. So it's like, I would like if I could, you know, make this a career and make it a sustainable one. And of course that requires, you know, the viewer to consume what I'm producing. So, you know, monetary things are not required. They're not even encouraged. I'm kind of just here. You can choose to support me if you want, and it for sure does not have to be monetarily. However, I could do the same thing that I do on a different platform and make significantly more money doing it for less. So it's like, why wouldn't I diversify? Because YouTube's algorithm kind of it kind of loves me a little bit. It kind of loves me a little bit. Like when I started commentary YouTube back in 2016, and I did reaction videos back before What's Their Faces tried to copyright reaction videos. That was a fun time. That was a fun time on the internet. But yeah, I used to make reaction videos to like music videos like Mariah Carey and K-pop stuff. And I, for some reason, I don't know if I was like a revolutionary for music reaction videos or if I just didn't watch the right music video reaction YouTubers, because I never once paused the video to offer any criticism. I just talked through it. I just talked through it and then I like gave my points at the end. I didn't realize you were like supposed to pause it. Because in my brain, I was like, oh, if you're pausing the video, I'm gonna get annoyed. Why the fuck do you keep pausing the video? But then everyone would be like, why the fuck are you talking through the best parts of the music video? And I'd be like, because it's a reaction music video, you motherfucking bitch. I didn't say that. But in my brain, I was absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, thinking it. I was like, you absolute idiots. It's a reaction video. You're supposed to be seeing my live reaction. So by pausing it, it's no longer a live reaction. I was a very confident, cocky 16-year-old, and oh, how I have been humbled. But yeah, even with that shit quality, I was still popping off like 3K and 4K views and doing nothing. And of course, I don't. At the end of the day, I say I don't care about the algorithm, but if the algorithm helps me share my voice with y'all, no matter how annoying it might be, that would be great, you know? So, you know, having something in my back pocket like YouTube that does have a better algorithm, it has better, I don't want to say sustainability, because I know YouTube's bad for the environment, just like Twitch and all the other things are, but in terms of things to keep your content, your brand alive, there's a lot of sustainability on YouTube. And of course, like I said, nothing is ever guaranteed, nothing is ever promised, nothing is ever expected either. So the fact that I've had success that I've had on either platform is incredible, thank you. But in terms of longevity, YouTube seems to be the better solution for the time being. That could change. That could change. There could be a brand new app that appears tomorrow on June 29th, 2023 that is the best thing since cornbread, sliced bread, Nutella, you name it. But in the meantime, that'll be the plan. I do love posting on YouTube. I do love it. It's fun. Sitting there waiting for my video to render for 6 hours, it's so invigorating. That was mildly sarcastic. But yeah, that's the plan. I made a channel trailer on there. And I made it like Elder Scrolls themed because I want to do... So I currently have a Morrowind playthrough going on that channel that's exclusive to just YouTube. It's not something I'm live streaming on either platform. It's just a video that I'm uploading. And they've only been about like an hour to 2 hours long each so far. And they haven't been like edited at all. Minus like cuts to go to the bathroom, like answer a phone call, stuff like that. But I might end up making them that length, but cutting out traveling and stuff, or cutting out long dialogue, because I was like going through everything. But I mean, with a game like Morrowind or Oblivion, it's almost necessary that I do that, because I feel like the point of people watching me play it is because vicariously live the Elder Scrolls experience through me, and they either don't have the patience or the accessibility or the ability, or did I say the patience? The patience to play through the game. Because Morrowind doesn't really have any voice acting. It has like grunts, and it's Morrowind is so misleading because when you're on the boat, Jib's like talking to you and he's like, ah, hurry up, the captain's gonna get pissed. And when you come off the boat, the captain's talking to you, hey, go on in, it'll be fine, welcome to Satanine. And then boom, you get hit with books on 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 books. What if you just thought the video froze when I did that? It's not buffering, bitch, it's just me. My brain is buffering. But yeah, there's like no dialogue after that. You get like a little grunt from Fargoth, and you get like a little from a cliff racer. But I mean, some people don't have the energy or the patience or the ability to read all of that stuff, and that's valid. That's valid. However, that's how games were back in the day. So, if keeping that stuff in the game or in the final cut of the video is something you would like, you'll have to let me know. Because for now, I'll continue business as usual, and I'll just cut out any slow walking, because you can't really fast travel in the game. You can travel by Silt Strider and stuff like that, but there's not really much the means of fast traveling like you can in Skyrim. And in Oblivion, you have multiple fast travel points that you can go to without even having to walk there. So, maybe we'll do like a hardcore Skyrim thing and then we wouldn't fast travel, but like for now, I don't know if you guys would even want to watch all the walking. I don't mind doing it. I'll be doing it regardless. It'll be recorded regardless. It's just a matter of whether you guys want to see that or not. So you can either let me know here, or you can let me know on any form of social media. Preferably something easy to find, like Twitter, or in my business email, hannahshermits@gmail.com, or in the comments on this video, or in the comments on any of my Morrowind playthroughs or my channel trailer. Don't put it on Reddit and tag me, something like that, If you want to let me know, here are the available means to let me know, so I can see it in a timely and relevant manner. But you also don't have to do that because you're not entitled to do it. You're not required to do it. But if you want, do it. I don't know. I love that being a content creator for me is constantly being braggadocious, but also being humbling. Because I'm like, look at me go. I popped off on this video. I got a 1 out of 10 on it on my YouTube. And then I'm like, please, if you want, like and subscribe, but you never have to. I hate saying like and subscribe. If you like it, you're gonna like it. And if you like it, you're gonna subscribe. You probably won't like the content, even though it does push it in the algorithm, but it's not your job as the viewer to boost my algorithm by doing anything more than just watching it. It would be nice, but it's not. I don't know, it's a whole weird thing. If you're also a content creator, you might know the constant turmoil in your brain. I don't know. Anyways, I'm getting off on a tangent, so I'm gonna wrap it up. Expect that on that YouTube. There's gonna be a bonus episode of the podcast coming out on the Patreon pretty soon too. I was gonna record it after this, but I spent a little longer talking than I wanted to, or not that I wanted to. I wanted to talk forever. Then I had the time allotted for, because I do have to work after this. So that'll be sometime this week. I need to stream again some point this week too. Yeah. But I hope you guys enjoyed my fun meteorology talk, because even though the smoke is coming from wildfires, it's still meteorological. Meteorological. I've never been able to say the word. That's probably why I got a C in the class. Meteorological. Meaty-Ball-ology. Meatball-ology. How about that? Thanks for listening to my Meatball-ology. I hope you enjoyed Buzz's cat grass in the corner that he has not touched. He will not touch it. I'm like, Buzz, it's grass. You love this shit. And he just won't touch it. But yeah, I'm gonna go do my laundry, get ready for work, do work, and hopefully it won't snow ash from the sky.